Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to the Octo English Academy podcast, the show where English stops being a subject you study and starts being a language you actually live in. I'm Sophie, and I am so genuinely glad you found your way here today.
Hello, everyone. Jamie here. And Sophie, I love that. A language you live in. That's really the goal, isn't it? Not English on paper. English in your mouth, in your thoughts, in your daily conversations.
Exactly that. And if you are new to this podcast, welcome. Sit down, get comfortable. We don't do textbooks here. We do real life, real feelings, real English. And if you've been with us for a while, you know how this works. No grammar stress, real examples, and the occasional moment where we laugh at ourselves, because English is genuinely funny sometimes.
It really is. And before we get into today's topic, which is a beautiful one, by the way, we want to say something important. This podcast is free. It's here for you. And the way you help it keep existing and growing is simple. Subscribe, leave a comment, share it with one person who needs it. That's it. You do that, and we get to keep doing this. And we really, really want to keep doing this.
We do. Okay, today's episode. This one came to us from a listener named Fatima, and Fatima's message made us both smile because it was so beautifully honest. She wrote, I understand so and because separately, but when I try to use them in a sentence, I sometimes put them in the wrong place and the sentence sounds broken. My teacher said the order matters, but I don't understand why. Help.
Fatima, you are not alone. This is one of those things that feels like it should be simple, and in a way it is, but it trips up so many learners because nobody ever explains the feeling behind it. They just say, this is the rule, use it. And that doesn't help. Rules without feeling don't stick.
Rules without feeling don't stick. That's going on the poster.
We need a very big poster.
We do. Okay, so here is the big picture for today. So and because are both connecting words. They both build bridges between two ideas, but they build the bridge in opposite directions, and that, the direction, is everything.
Think about a cause and an effect. Something happens, that's the cause. Something results from it, that's the effect. Every story has cause and effect. Every sentence you explain has a cause and an effect.
Because looks backward. It points to the cause. It answers the question, why? Why did this happen? What is the reason? Because reaches back and finds the explanation.
So looks forward. It points to the effect. It answers the question, what happened next? What resulted from this? So moves the story forward and shows you the consequence.
Same two ideas, same cause, same effect. But where you start the sentence and which word you use changes the direction you're traveling.
And once you feel that direction, once you feel that because goes backward and so goes forward, you will never put them in the wrong place again. Because your sentence has a feeling, and the word has to match that feeling.
The direction is the feeling. Relax. Let's go deeper. Let's start with because, and I want to start with a moment that almost everyone can relate to, explaining yourself to someone.
Oh yes, the very human experience of having to justify your choices.
Exactly. Think about the last time someone asked you, why did you do that? Or why didn't you come? Or why are you feeling this way? The answer to every single one of those questions starts with because. Because is the word for reasons, for explanations, for looking behind the result and finding the cause that created it.
Because answers why. That is its job, its only job, and it does it beautifully.
Real life, please. 3 because sentences. I left the meeting early because I had another appointment. She's been quiet all week because she's going through something difficult. We chose this neighborhood because it's close to the school and feels safe.
Do you feel the movement in those sentences? In each one, something happened, left the meeting, being quiet, choosing the neighborhood, and because reaches back to explain it, to justify it, to give it a reason. The effect comes first, then because, then the cause.
And that order, effect, then because, then cause, is the most natural order in spoken English. I was late because the train broke down. The lateness comes first, then why. That's how we naturally talk when we're explaining ourselves.
But, and this is important, you can also flip it. You can put the cause first if you want. Because the train broke down, I was late. That is also correct. You're putting the reason first, then the result. It's a little more formal, a little more like written English, but it works. Both directions are valid. Because is flexible that way.
The important thing is that because always connects to the why. Wherever it sits in the sentence, it is pointing at the reason. That is its identity.
Now, let's move to so. And so, the life moment so belongs to is storytelling, explaining what happened next. Cause first, then so, then the result. You're moving the story forward. You're showing consequence.
Think of so as the word that says and therefore, and as a result, and that's why. It takes something that happened and says, look what came from it.
Real life, please. 3 so sentences. The train broke down, so I was late. She hasn't been sleeping well, so she's been quiet all week. The neighborhood is close to the school and feels safe, so we chose it.
Notice something. Those are almost the exact same meanings as the because sentences. Same cause, same effect. But the sentence starts differently. With so, the cause comes first, then so, then the result. The story moves forward.
And that forward movement, that feeling of so, it's like you're walking someone through a sequence of events. This happened, so this happened. It's natural, it's conversational. It's the way people tell stories around a dinner table.
I want to share something here. When I think about how children learn to connect ideas in their first language, what's one of the first connecting words they use?
Because, always because. Why can't I have more sweets? Because you've already had some. But why? Because I said so.
Because I said so, the most powerful because in the English language. But you're right, because is instinctive. So comes a little later. Because so requires you to think forward, to see consequence, and that's a slightly more complex mental move.
Which is why learners sometimes feel more comfortable with because and use it everywhere. And that's fine as a starting point. But once you feel so, once that forward movement becomes natural to you, your English opens up enormously because you can tell stories, you can explain events, you can connect ideas in both directions.
Let's do contrast pairs. This is always where the light comes on. Same situation, because, then so. Feel the direction change.
Situation 1. You missed a deadline at work. I missed the deadline because I was dealing with a family emergency. The missed deadline comes first, then because reaches back and explains why. Effect first, reason after. The sentence is explaining, justifying.
Answering the unspoken question, why did you miss it? I was dealing with a family emergency, so I missed it. The cause, the emergency, comes first, then so moves the story forward to the result. Cause first, consequence after. The sentence is narrating, describing what happened.
Same truth, same situation, but the first sentence sounds like you're defending yourself, and the second sounds like you're describing a sequence of events. Neither is better, they just serve different moments in conversation.
Exactly. If someone asks you, why did you miss the deadline? You start with the effect and use because. I missed it because. If you're telling the story from the beginning, so what happened was, you use so.
The question you were just answering shapes the word you choose. Why invites because. What happened invites so.
That is a genuinely useful rule of thumb. If someone asked why, reach for because. If you're narrating, reach for so.
Situation 3. Making a decision. Because I think this is where learners especially need both words. In professional conversations, in presentations, in emails.
We changed the launch date because the product wasn't ready. You're explaining a decision, justifying it, answering the unspoken question, why did you change it? The product wasn't ready, so we changed it. You're narrating a situation, describing a sequence. This is what happened, and here is what resulted.
In a business email, if you need to explain a decision, because feels more like a direct response to scrutiny. So feels more like a calm, confident narration of facts. Both are professional, both work, but they carry slightly different energy.
Because is defensive in the best sense of the word. It defends a decision with a reason. So is narrative. It walks someone through a logical sequence.
And in real English, in real conversation, people move between both constantly, within the same story. I was running late because the traffic was awful, so I called ahead to let them know, and because I'd called, they held the table for us. Listen to that sentence. Because, so, because. The direction keeps switching as the story shifts.
That is a beautiful example because in real speech, causes and effects chain together, and fluent speakers move between because and so naturally as the direction of the story shifts.
And the fact that you're learning this today consciously means it will become unconscious faster, because now you have the concept. Now you feel the direction.
Let's also spend a moment on so in another role, because so is a very busy word in English. Apart from showing consequence, so is also used to introduce a topic or continue a conversation. So, where were we? So, I have something to tell you. So, what do you think? In these cases, so is not connecting a cause and effect at all. It's a conversation opener, a signal that something is about to happen.
Yes, this is the so that starts stories and transitions. You're not explaining a result. You're just saying, attention please, here comes something. And learners sometimes confuse this so with the cause and effect so. They are different feelings, but the same word.
The context always tells you which so it is. If there's a cause before it, it's the consequence so. If it's at the very start of a thought with nothing before it, it's the conversation so. And both are natural, both are common, both are very much everyday English.
Emotional check-in time. Sophie, honestly, which one of these words did you personally overuse when you were becoming more fluent in English?
Oh, without question, because. I would put because everywhere. Someone would say, "How are you?" And I'd be like, "I'm good because I slept well." Nobody asked for the reason, but I was so proud of my because that I used it every chance I could.
That's actually adorable, and it makes complete sense. Because feels safe. It feels solid. It feels like explanation, and explanation feels intelligent. Because makes you feel like you're saying something meaningful.
It does, and it is meaningful. I just needed to balance it with so, to learn to move forward as well as backward. And once I started doing that, my English started feeling like a real flow, like water moving, not just justification. Narration, story, sequence.
That flow. That is what we're chasing. English that moves like a conversation, not like a grammar exercise.
Always. Okay, let's go to part 3.
Part 3, Practical Time. And I want to start with listener participation, because this one I designed especially to make the direction of the words feel physical, like something in your body, not just your head.
I love this already.
So, picture this. You didn't sleep well last night. That's your fact, your reality. Now, someone asks you, "Why do you look so tired today?" Your answer uses because. Say it out loud. I look tired because I didn't sleep well last night. Did you feel that? The tiredness, the thing they see, came first. Then because reached backward into the reason. Effect, then cause. Backward.
Now, same fact, but this time you're just telling your colleague what happened today. Nobody asked, you're just updating them. You use so. Say it out loud. I didn't sleep well last night, so I've been struggling to concentrate all day. Feel that? The sleepless night, the cause, came first, then so moved forward to the result, struggling to concentrate. Forward movement, cause to effect.
Same night, same tiredness, different direction, different word.
Say both sentences again, back to back. Feel which one goes backward and which one goes forward. I look tired because I didn't sleep. Backward, why? I didn't sleep, so I look tired. Forward, what happened next?
Your body can feel the difference if you let it. Because pulls you back. So pushes you forward. Trust that feeling. It will guide you.
Now say it with us. Complete this sentence out loud. I'm learning English because blank, and I keep going, so maybe I'm learning English because I want to connect with more people, and I keep going, so every day my confidence grows a little more.
That sentence is a whole story, a reason, a consequence, a life, in 2 connecting words.
Mistake correction time. Brave, intelligent, trying hard people make these mistakes, and trying hard is always worth celebrating.
Always. First common mistake. I hear this a lot. Learner says, I was tired because I went to bed late. Let's fix it gently. When because comes in the middle of a sentence, connecting 2 parts of the same sentence, you usually do not need a comma before it. I was tired because I went to bed late. No comma. The comma before because is a very common learner habit, and it often comes from the learner's first language, where a connecting word like this might require a pause mark. In English, because in the middle of a sentence flows without a comma.
The memory trick. Because is a bridge, not a pause. Bridges don't stop, they connect. So when because is mid-sentence, let it connect without a break. I was tired because I went to bed late. Smooth, no stop.
Now, there are moments in writing when a comma before because can work, but they are specific and rare. In everyday English, spoken and written, skip the comma, keep it flowing.
Second mistake. This one is about the order. Learner says, because I was sick, so I didn't go to work. Let's fix it gently. You cannot use both because and so to connect the same 2 ideas in the same sentence. They're doing the same job, connecting cause and effect. Using both together is like putting 2 bridges between the same banks of a river. You only need one. Choose. Either, I didn't go to work because I was sick, or I was sick, so I didn't go to work. Not both. Pick your direction and use one word.
The memory trick is because and so are rivals for the same job. They don't share, they take turns. Give the job to one of them and let the other rest.
I love that. They're rivals. They don't share.
Third mistake. Learner says, so I was nervous, I couldn't speak. Let's fix it gently. There are 2 small issues here. First, when so connects cause and effect in the middle of a sentence, there needs to be a comma before so. I was nervous, so I couldn't speak. The comma marks the join between the 2 parts. Second, the cause needs to come before so. I was nervous is the cause. I couldn't speak is the effect. So, I was nervous, so I couldn't speak. Cause, comma, so, effect. That's the natural pattern.
The memory trick for so, comma before, effect after. You're pausing slightly, taking a breath, and then moving the story forward. I was nervous, pause, so I couldn't speak.
That little pause, that breath, is what the comma represents. And in speech, you actually do pause slightly before so when you're connecting cause and effect. Listen to natural English speakers. You'll hear it.
Fourth mistake, and this one is about using so as a filler at the start of every sentence. Learner says, so I woke up, so I had coffee, so I went to work, so it was a normal day. Let's fix it gently. So at the start is a conversation opener. It's natural and common in English. But when every sentence begins with so, it starts to sound mechanical, like a list, like a robot narrating its morning. Use so to open a conversation or introduce a topic once or twice, then let the story flow naturally without it. Vary your openings.
Variety is what makes speech sound human. A few so's, warm and natural. A so at the start of every sentence, it starts to feel like you're presenting a PowerPoint.
Nobody wants a PowerPoint Monday morning.
Nobody, ever.
Okay, confidence exercise. Out loud, clear voice. Feel every word. I'm here because English matters to me, so I will keep going even when it's hard. Say it again. I'm here because English matters to me, so I will keep going even when it's hard.
Because English matters, the reason, looking back at why you started, looking back at what drives you. So I will keep going, the consequence, the forward motion, the result that follows from that reason. One sentence, both directions, your whole journey.
Not perfect, but confident. That is always enough.
And now, the closing story. One character, real life. Both words doing their job. His name is Omar. He's been working in a new city for 6 months. One evening, his mother calls and asks, "Are you happy there?" Omar thinks for a moment, then he says, "I was lonely at first because I didn't know anyone, but I joined a language exchange group, so I started making friends. And because I made friends, my confidence grew. So now I actually look forward to going out." His mother is quiet for a moment. Then she says, "You sound different." Omar smiles. "I am, Mom," he says. "I kept going, so I changed."
I kept going, so I changed. That sentence has a cause and an effect, and both of them are true.
Because carried the honesty, the loneliness, the reason. So carried the movement, the friends, the growth, the change. Together, they told the whole story.
That's what these two words do when you really know them. They don't just connect sentences, they carry your story forward and explain it at the same time. That is real English. That is the English of a person who has lived something and can tell you about it clearly and confidently.
Let's bring it home. Today we learned that because and so are both connecting words, but they face in opposite directions.
Because looks backward at the reason. It answers why. Effect first, then because, then cause.
So looks forward at the result. It answers what happened next. Cause first, then so, then effect. Don't use both in the same sentence for the same connection. They're rivals. Pick one direction and one word.
Comma before so when it's mid-sentence. No comma before because in the middle of a sentence. And so at the start of a sentence is a conversation opener. Wonderful in small doses, mechanical in large ones.
Fatima, this was for you. The order matters because the direction matters. And now you feel the direction. Your sentences won't sound broken anymore. They'll sound like you, moving forward and reaching back all at once, telling your story.
Leave us a comment. Tell us one sentence with because and one sentence with so from your own life this week. Real life, please. Always real life.
Subscribe to the Octo English Academy podcast. Share it. Grow this community because more learners deserve this space. So let's make sure they find it.
Sophie just used both words in the call to action. That was masterful. I planned that, obviously.
Obviously, English is not a test, it's a tool. Communication first, grammar later.
Just keep speaking. Bye for now.
Bye everyone. Take care.